There we go. We're all connected in. All right, awesome. How is everybody doing today? I'm so excited for drawing today. We've got some awesome storyboards for our second episode. We're going to be talking about storyboards and also the stories that we tell ourselves. So it's going to be a continuation of what we did in our last episode where we were talking about the emotions in our head. This week, we're going to be writing a story and storyboarding them out with using the emotions that are in our head. Comment in the live stream chat or comment on the video below after it's posted what you guys thought, what are the emotions that are going through your head, and what stories you guys came up with. I'm super excited. All right. So for art review today, we've got a lot of different artists that submitted their artwork from last episode. So let's check it out. So these were some beautiful drawings from one of my star students. It looks like she's got artistic and adventurous as her emotions, which I love that too, because I mean, artistic obviously is near and dear to my heart, but the adventurous is like a really fun one, and it reminds me of the daring emotion that I have, and adventurous is a fun one to have for sure. I think we should all kind of go into our days with a little bit of that adventure spark. Then we also have another artist who created some really cool designs. I love the star student's style and all the different, like the variety of the characters. This is a student and his younger brother created some of these emotions, and it was really cool. I love seeing them in my class. Next up, we have these awesome ones by Elliot and surprised and silly, which are such great emotions. I like the surprised one because that one I hadn't ever considered when I was creating my own emotions. And that's what I kind of like about seeing my students create, seeing you guys create these drawing activities, is getting to see something that I didn't even expect, which I think is the best part about being an artist, is that it's always something new when you see it from somebody else's perspective. Then we also have these beautiful illustrations, and each emotion is so unique, which I think is really cool. No one looks exactly alike. And let's see. Oh, we got some more. These are from Graham. This one was a really funny one. This one, I believe it says silly. He's wearing a top hat, which I just love. It's like kind of like why the reason I wear a onesie for this show is because it's a little bit silly. It's also comfortable, and yeah, it's just fun. And I think it's important to keep that alive. And sometimes you got to do it through your clothes. Let's see. Ooh, these ones are really cool too. I believe by Arlo, and so unique. Like there's one, I think it's the triangle one looking one. This guy, who looks like I think that one's for like style and like body or clothes. I forget what exactly Arlo said it was, but I remember it was because he felt like he had a strong sense of style, and I love that. That's such a cool. It's like so cool to see the students and seeing what they like about themselves through these drawings. These ones Kathleen did, awesome job, Kathleen. Really love it, Lovey. And you did another one which I really like too, which is careless. And I just love the kind of the hair being carelessly like tied up by like a scrunchie, it looks like, and just lounging down with, it looks like a low battery too, which is really cool. Maybe that's a commentary on when my laptop died last week when we were doing the live stream and it was careless of me. Maybe, but shots fired, Kathleen. I love it. I also like that with my star students and with artists in general, everything's open for discussion. You can toss anything on this table and see what sticks, or toss something on the wall and see what sticks. But I'm a big believer of Bob Ross's mentality, where there's just no mistakes, just happy accidents. And so whatever it is that you're doing, you can always learn and grow from it if you choose to see it that way. So very nice job, everyone. round of applause for all of you STAR students who did these amazing artwork. If you guys want to submit any of your artwork, you can send it to me via my email, or you could send it to teacher.noah. So yeah, it's pretty easy. You could tag me in it on Instagram and post it to your story, or you could just DM it to me on Instagram or send it to me in an email, and I will include it in next week's art review. Now, for our morning mindfulness, we come live from, I believe it's Starfire. Yeah, Starfire, which is cognitive flexibility. And Starfire says, we view our life through the stories we tell ourselves. Now, cognitive flexibility means the ability to change your perspective on something. And that's what I wanted to talk about today with our stories, because sometimes we tell ourselves the stories like maybe you could say like, I'm awesome, or I'm really good at this. And so I know, or like, I'm really good at talking to people. So I know that when I walk into a classroom, if you're a young student, you know that you can make friends. You're confident in that. But it could also do the opposite. You can tell yourself negative stories. Like maybe you had a bad experience in one classroom where you didn't make any friends. And you start to tell yourself that story that, you know what, I'm bad at making friends. I'm not good at this. Or maybe you played one bad game of baseball, or you failed a test, and then you start to tell this story in yourself that you're bad at taking tests, or that you're bad at sports. And that story can be really damaging if it's left unchecked. And what's great about being human is that we have a lot of mistakes, but we also have a really high capacity to grow and change. And so a lot of these stories, sometimes we just discount them, or we don't allow ourselves to grow and change because we tell ourselves these stories, and because we tell ourselves those stories so many times, we start to believe that they're true. So what I would love for you guys to do while we do this activity is to try to think of the stories that we tell ourselves. And part of that could be the story that we told ourselves last week with our emotions, which is what we're going to talk about today. So our daily inspiration comes from an artist, Matt Jones, and he did these beautiful storyboards for Pixar's Inside Out, and we're going to check them out right here. So this is what a storyboard is. This is literally a board which has individual story pictures on it. Originally, they used to do this at the animation studios by using index cards, and they would pin them up on a cork board, and they would have the whole room full, like every single inch of the wall was covered in these cork boards, and some of them were even on the floor too. And then on each board, they would have a bunch of index cards where they would draw these little story thumbnails, or storyboards. Now, the reason that they're so sketchy and loose, and that they don't have any color and there's not a lot of detail in them, is because the point of a storyboard is to communicate the story and try to get an idea for staging and where all the characters are going to go and composition. But you're not trying to draw a perfect character or try to make everything look exactly right. Sometimes the character designs even change too, and that's okay. The idea is just to get an idea of where all the characters go. So we're going to look at some of these up close right now. So it starts off with Joy is on the train with Bing Bong, and it says, "You can't hold Bing Bong down." Now this scene, and this is a big part of the storyboards too, is that sometimes storyboards don't make it into the movie, and that's why they do them. They try to figure out all the elements of the story first before they get into animation or even getting into the complete character designs, because you wouldn't want to animate a scene because it takes a long time and then have to get rid of it because it doesn't fit the flow of the entire story. So what they do is they make these out of storyboards on little index cards, or you can draw them digitally too. But they're really simple so that you didn't spend a lot of time drawing each individual picture. You're just trying to get the scenes down as fast as possible. And even with a few lines, you could see that they have this really great dynamic, like zooming shot where you're looking over Bing Bong's shoulder. Now, Joy's looks like she's collapsed on the ground. She goes, "What the heck was that?" And she looks around right here. And so each storyboard is really just showing the actions, the main actions, and different expressions that change the character significantly. So you don't have to show everything. It's not an animation, but it is enough that you can see what's going on. And she goes, and what is this thing? And she holds up her hand like that. And then Bing Bong says, it's the train of thought. And you see that they change the perspective from Joy just laying down on the thing, because you don't need to hear what she's saying anymore. Right now, you want to kind of see what they're on. So you could, as Bing Bong says, this is the train of thought, you could see that they're on a train cart. Then you see Joy's reaction, which is great. And because it's a conversation, you have a little over-the-shoulder shot of Bing Bong. So that's that shadowy figure on the left side. And over-the-shoulder means you're looking, the camera angle is literally over the shoulder of a character. And it can be like just showing the back of the head, or it could just show their whole body. It's all called over-the-shoulder. An important part of storyboarding, too, is to keep the 180 rule, which means that if we draw Bing Bong on the left side of the storyboard and Joy is on the right side, even if we change perspectives, like in this next storyboard, you're still going to have Bing Bong on the left and Joy on the right, even though now it's over Joy's shoulder. And that just helps keep things clear and less confusing when you're watching, because if the characters are moving all over the screen instead of staying on the left side and staying on the right side, it's harder to follow. Joy had given Bing Bong a face, like, why is this called the train of thought? Like, that's kind of corny. And Bing Bong goes, I didn't name it. And then we cut to Joy, and she's just like looking even more kind of confused. And Bing Bong goes, yeah, eventually. And now, because he's going on to like a long conversation, you don't want to just keep your shot on one character unless you're trying to do like an emotional scene where they're having like a heartfelt conversation. Then you don't want to be jumping around camera angles too much. But if they're just having a casual conversation, and also if he's describing what she's doing, and that's what the little VO at the bottom says, that's a voiceover. And that means you could hear his voice, but you can't see him talking. And he says, it's a good thing we caught the limited. And that's a little joke there. But now you can see what the train is doing, and it's chugging away. And then they show it from another shot just to give a little bit more context. Oh, good morning, Mo. Glad you're here. All right. And then the train goes across the hills. And as the train, it looks like, is going further away, we want to cut to Joy one more time so you can see Joy's face. Now, what we're going to do today is draw and storyboard a scene from the story that we created last week that you guys helped me create with the emotions I designed. Now, if you came up with your own characters, you came up with your own story for your characters, that's awesome. And you can start to storyboard one of your scenes. All right. So here we go. Now, behind me, you can see my iPad. These are the storyboards by Matt Jones. What I did was really simply create a template, and these do not have to be great at all. These can be really loose. They don't even have to all look symmetrical. I also put all my emotional characters on the top just so I could have them as a reference. Now, what I'm going to do next is pull up the story that we came up with. So this one was episode title, The Art of Resilience. Hi guys, come on in. Hi. All right, we got some new students coming in too, virtually and in the real classroom. All right. Okay. Hi.
Well, are we the first one? Are we the first one or not?
Yep.
Oh, marked. I love these markers.
All right. So
Where were these markers when we were here last week?
I'm just checking really quick. It looks like We got a different stream link. For those of you on the YouTube, can you let me know what?
Nice markers.
Oh, interesting. Okay, it says that you guys are streaming live. Great.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. That's right. Yes.
Well, tomorrow.
All right, here, let me get this up for you guys.
Marker. I love these markers.
All right.
Where did you get these markers? I kind of want them.
There we go. All right, so what we're doing today is, remember how we did our storyboards, or we did our character designs for all of our emotions? Now we're going to take a story that we wrote of our characters and we're going to turn them into storyboards. And just catching everyone up who's just joining now. So these are, and you guys will see them up in a second, these are storyboards from Inside Out, and we're going to create our own storyboard. So for the story that I have, let's see, and we're going to start off with a really rough sketch. I thought it would be really cool to do the scene that we came up with last week for my story called, in Act 1, called The Mishap. And this is when all of my supplies fell out of my car. With all of his art supplies and meticulously prepared pieces for the presentation. Okay, let's see. Inside his head, daring at the helm. So, let's see. His car packed up with all his supplies. Okay, there we go. So the first scene is Noah's on his way to his studio. His car is packed with all his supplies and meticulously prepared pieces for the presentation. Inside his head, daring is at the helm, pumping him up with confidence. Suddenly, a truck swerves into Noah's lane, causing him to swerve and hit a pothole. The trunk pops open, and all of his supplies and art scatter across the highway. Now, first, what we want to do is create an establishing shot. And again, these are going to be super simple drawings, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on each one. We're just going to try to draw really simple lines. So let's say, let's make this like a highway. Here's like a tree. We're going to do this from the side point of view. I'm glad you guys like the markers. All right. And what we'll have is, here we go. Here's the trees. But in this scene right here, I'm going to have my car coming in.
Is that a highway?
Yep. So now we have the highway, and then we have my car zooming in.
Is that your car?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cartoon version of my car. It's not super accurate. All right. Then what we're going to do is, after we have the establishing shot of the highway and then the car right there, now we're going to cut into inside, and maybe we want to show all the supplies in the car. So let's do it from a front view. Oh, and hey, Emmett, I'm glad you're here online too. All right. So here's me in the car. Now let's make me looking stressed because let's say I'm running late. There we go, like that. All right, and what we really want to show is all the supplies, because that's going to come up next in the story. So what we're going to do is that's going to be me. Yeah, that's me.
Ew, that's weird.
I know, I forgot to draw my beard. There we go.
Well,
Yeah, and again, this is really just a simple sketch. It doesn't have to look exactly like the character design. So for those of you just joining, what we're doing is we're drawing storyboards for a story. So if you have a story, I know, I know. It's okay. These sketches don't have to be accurate. They just have to be, one of the students in the classroom was saying that I don't have a beard. Now, these characters are really just to show where they're going to be in the scene. They're not going to be showing a lot of detail. So Emmett for online and anybody else who's curious about what we're doing, these are called storyboards, and we're going to show each scene of the story that we wrote. Now, if you didn't write a story yet, you could follow along and try to sketch these out quickly, and it'll be a really good practice for drawing really fast, because with storyboards you don't want to spend a lot of time on them. Those kind of drawings come later on, and we're going to cover those in a different episode. But these drawings are supposed to be really quick and sketchy, so if you just want to use this as a practice to try to draw things really fast, you can do it like that to see how it feels to draw really fast. Now, in this scene that I'm storyboarding, it's kind of like a comic book of what's happening, except we're going to draw it in panels like this. Now, the scene that I'm drawing is where I'm driving in a car and I have a bunch of supplies in the back of my car. So actually, maybe in right here, we're going to add in some supplies sticking out the window. And maybe we could even show like some pieces of paper kind of flying out already to kind of anticipate that like it's already kind of chaotic. And that's going to be me in the car. Now again, this is not supposed to be a beautiful drawing. These are supposed to be... I know, that's kind of called foreshadowing, and it's when we like allude. So I can't, or actually, yeah, what's up with the question?
I want to make my comment about a pencil case.
Yeah, you can do it whatever you want. Right now, just though, keep them really simple. So here we go. Let's do a box or something like that. And storyboards are a really great time, everyone, for drawing like funny kind of comedy and adding funny things in your story.
A pencil case.
There we go. All right, so it looks like the car is full. There's me driving the car. And then now what we need to do is we need to show me swerving out of the way, because that's the next part of the story. Hey, hi. What's up, everyone online? Megan. I'm assuming it's your boys that are drawing with us. I'm so excited. Maybe add a Diet Coke in the cup holder. That's a good one. The trees look like bushes. All right. I don't know what to, okay. Yeah, exactly. Now, the idea for this is more to give the illusion, or not even the illusion. It's really, really simple. It's just to kind of, almost as if they're stickers. Oh, hey, Drew, online. It's really just to give you an idea of where everything is going to go. This is called composition. All right, let me add a Diet Coke as requested. There we go. All right. So while you guys are drawing yours, you could follow along, or you can draw your own stories. And I would suggest drawing these rectangles really small too, because that helps you not draw a lot of details. Because we really want to only take a few seconds to draw these. These are sometimes storyboards are sometimes called throwaway drawings, because you actually throw away a lot of the drawings that you do. And you tend to do like hundreds and hundreds of drawings to storyboard the scenes. But it helps you get an idea of what's the flow of the story and if it tracks. Because what they'll do is they'll turn these into an animatic, which is basically putting one storyboard on the screen at a time, and then and they'll do some sound effects and some voiceover work, and then you can kind of watch the movie but in cartoon form. So anyway, next scene is suddenly a truck swerves into Noah's lane, causing him to swerve and hit a pothole. Now, if I drew the truck swerving in front of me right here, that would be kind of hard to see because you can only see my face. So you can see my reaction, but an idea for showing the entire truck is maybe we... maybe we draw my car like this from behind. Get a little cool perspective going on here, like that.
Your donkey sweatshirt.
I don't think I'm wearing it in this scene, actually.
You quit at donkey camp?
Did I quit at donkey camp? No, it's a toasty onesie, honestly. If I drove in this, I'd be sweating by the time I get here. Oh, you do?
You should wear it.
Oh yeah, you should wear it.
I guess we're the only ones here. No, people are online.
Yep, we got people online too. If you guys want to say hi to the people in the classroom, so we got who do we got? We got Drew, we got Emmett online. You guys might have even been in a class with Emmett. Yeah, if you guys online want to say hi, we got Graham here and Elliot. Now, okay, so this scene right here, I copy and pasted, but what we're going to do is we're going to draw the truck coming in really big like this. Let's see, we're going to erase the trees a little bit, or the bushes as you guys call them. I'm going to draw this big truck. There we go. All right. So now we could see at least what's happening a little bit more clearly, and that's really the goal here. Yeah.
And so on my comments, Charlie the little kitty gave up singing. Now he wants to go racing.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so one of the students in the classroom, I'm just going to repeat it to the people on YouTube so they can hear you guys too. You're drawing a kitty and it's going to be singing for your story? All right. Now in this next scene, I'm going to have be swerve. So let's draw the car from kind of like an angle. Like this. Now this can be a little bit more exaggerated and cartoony. Just so we could see what's going on. So I'm going to have this car like go way up like that. All right, we got some frogs being drawn online too. Love it. So now we have me like swerving to the side, and I think it feels like a good spot to cut to another angle because we want to be able to see all of the supplies flying out. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do this, and really with storyboards you can do it in a lot of different ways. But the goal is to try to go for clarity so that your scene is really obvious, basically, what you're showing. You want to show the focus as clearly as possible so anybody who's watching it can just follow along with the story and not have to worry about like shots being confusing. Because we could have this whole scene from the angle of like my face, like in this one, but that would be really confusing. You wouldn't really be able to tell what's going on. You can maybe do it by like the steering wheel and see me swerve over and my facial expression and see the supplies leaving, but that would be a little bit tricky. For this scene, for the things flying out, what do you guys think? And you guys, Graham and Elliot and anybody online, you guys can offer up some suggestions. What would be the best way to show all the things flying out of my car? Let's see. We could do like a side view, like going back to this original, this one right here. That would be kind of nice, I think. So I'm going to copy this one, but I'm going to make it really small. Over the top. Interesting. All right, let's try it. I'm going to try this one. All right, let's try the world flipped, says Emmett. All right, let's do an over the top where we see the big truck There we go. So the big truck is going there. Here's the road with our bushy trees.
In your bushes.
Yeah, in the bushes. Yeah. And we'll have my car right here. And maybe the objects even fly like way up in the air so they come towards the camera, which would be kind of cool. Like that. So that way, as the objects fly out, so just for clarity, I'm going to label these. Let's see.
How do you spell pencil?
There we go.
N-C-C-I-L. How to draw pencil?
And then maybe the last scene is we cut to this last one where you can see the last few papers flying out. Now, before we go on to the next scene where we're going to draw inside my head, I think it's time for a karate break. So let's pause for a second. All right.
How to draw pencil case.
All right. Are you guys ready to do a karate break?
Right?
I know you got here a little bit late, so you've only just started drawing. Yeah.
I'm done.
Oh, you're done already? Okay, perfect. All right, so just for any newcomers, I used to do karate when I was a kid. I did it since I was 7, and then I did it all the way up until I was in college and art school. And I eventually had to stop because I had so many art projects to do. But the reason I have you guys doing a karate break is because it's a really great way to shake off the cobwebs as you're drawing. Because if you sit and draw for any amount of time, you can get a little bit stiff, and a lot of the times you start getting a little bit frustrated and then a little bit more frustrated, and eventually you start getting frustrated at your drawings, which is not fun because then your drawings start to look bad and then you get more frustrated. Well, right, so what we're doing is a preemptive strike. So preemptive means before it happens. So we're trying, one of the students here said he's not frustrated yet. Yes, I'm going to see him all after. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to take a break before we get frustrated, because I feel like more often than not, if you keep on drawing, you either get tired, hungry, hangry, or frustrated with your drawings because you're running out of ideas. So what we want to do is we want to keep ourselves relaxed and take breaks. That way we can keep on drawing and be like refreshed. All right, so we're going to play the game called Sensei Says. Just to refresh, and for anybody new, welcome. This is a game kind of like Simon Says, where if I say Sensei Says straight punch, you straight punch. Now, if I don't say Sensei Says and I just say straight punch, you're out. All right, so just to refresh, a punch, make sure your thumb is on the outside of your fingers. You don't want it on the inside, otherwise you could really hurt your thumb. And you want to punch straight from right here. This is called cocking your hand. It's kind of like putting the bullet in the chamber of a gun so that it's ready to shoot out, just like that. If you punch from the side, then you're also going to hurt your hand. So the whole point is to keep everybody safe. So straight punch. Then we have a rising block, which you still make a fist, and you kind of punch up to the sky like that. Rising block, like that. Then we have cross block, which comes from the outside like that. I think this is one that I kept on saying last week, but we didn't do. So this one, it's almost like you're grabbing and making a fist right in front of your face. Then we have middle block, which this one is like scooping up ice cream. So cross block and middle block are both good for defending somebody that's like punch you right in your chest. And then our last one is down block. This is like a good one for blocking kicks. So you're kind of hammering your hand down. All right, ready? Here we go. Sensei says rising block. Sensei says rising block. Sensei says cross block. Sensei says middle block. Down block. Oh, did I get anybody? Nobody in the classroom got out. This is so far so good. Okay, you guys must have been practicing. Sensei says middle block. Sensei says middle block. Sensei says straight punch. Sensei says straight punch. Rising block. Ooh, so far so good. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit faster now. All right, Sensei says cross block. Sensei says down block. Sensei says middle block. Sensei says rising block. Straight punch. Oh, did I get anybody else online? All right, we're going to go one more round really fast. If you want to try again, you guys in the classroom, you can, and then we'll go back to our drawing. Okay, Sensei says rising block. Sensei says middle block. Sensei says down block. Cross block. Sensei says middle block. Sensei says down block. Sensei says straight punch. Straight punch. Oh, all right. I'm waiting to see.
Draw on a piece of paper.
No, what was that? Oh, great. Okay, maybe you could co-star with me sometime. That would be so much fun. All right. Great job, everyone. And also, it's always good to just stretch. Some of the guys in here in the classroom here, we're stretching too. I like to do this one where you pull your fingers back like that. And it really helps stretch out your fingers so that they stay loose. All right. Now, okay. One of the other really fun parts about doing storyboards is that you can do a little bit of like shading and lighting, and that really helps because because you want to give a little bit of an idea of the lighting, and you can kind of hint at some of if it's like dark or where the shadows, and it can kind of help refocus things. So this is what we're going to do. I changed the opacity on my drawing brush really low, or it's like 50-40%. That way when I draw and I color on it, it kind of looks like a marker. So some of the students here in the class have Copic markers, which are really great. And when you color over it twice, it gets darker, or 3 times. And so that's basically what I would be using. But because I'm drawing on a tablet so everybody can see, I'm going to do this with my marker, with my digital brush. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to focus on what the focus is. We're going to try to bring that focus to. So in these two scenes, we have the car zooming in, and we want the car to be the focus, and we also want the papers and everything flying out to be the focus. Now, I'm going to make the papers and the car kind of lighter, which means I'm going to make the background a little bit darker. This also really gives it a little bit more of a finished quality than just like a simple sketch. Like that, let's see. And the reason we're making these darkers is to create something called contrast. And that's where you put something that's light next to something that's dark. That's one way to create contrast. Next week, we're going to go into coloring. And that's another way, a really good way to create contrast, is you get to have contrasting colors. There we go. So I'm just going to do the same thing for this scene. Since the car is in there, it's all going to be pretty dark. Like that. Voila. And now it already starts to look a little bit more like a finished drawing, which is great. Now inside the car, we want to highlight my face, and we also want to highlight the supplies in the back. So we're going to darken these things because we've already decided that the supplies are going to be a little bit lighter than the background because they're going to be like paper and light cardboard. So here we go. Like that. Voila. And now you see how these are already looking a little bit more like finished drawings, which is great. Just adding a little bit of shadows to the trees too. All right. Now in this scene, what I think would be really cool is that when the truck comes over to me.
A comic of that.
Am I going to print out a comic of that?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I will. Should I? Does it look that good? Yeah? Oh, thank you.
Can I show you mine?
I do want to see all of yours, but I'm going to wait until the end of class so that you guys can finish drawing yours.
I'm doing how to draw Charlie.
Charlie the Disco Kitty again.
Oh, I love the Disco Kitty.
What? She changed.
All right.
She quit
So for those of you guys that are online, one of my students here took my cartooning class, and his story was Charlie the Disco Kitty, or was it a different name?
Charlie.
Oh, it was Charlie. Okay, gotcha. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to keep this semi-light. We're not going to go like super dark with the grays, because what I want, and I want the car to look light so that when the big truck comes over, it casts a big shadow over our character. So actually what we might do is keep the sky really light. That way it highlights it even more. Okay, let's see. Because we want this truck to look really like scary and intimidating.
Why?
Because it's the reason that my character is like swerving off the side of the road. So we want it to seem like it's as intimidating as possible.
I like that truck.
You like the truck?
Yep.
Yeah, see? So now it's like all happy and good. We're in the light, and then the truck comes and it's in the dark. Now, light and dark doesn't always mean good and bad.
It means terrible and death.
The student says it means terrible and death. Really, it just means something that's different. So if it's like in Monsters University, if you guys have seen that movie, they have the characters Mike and Sully, because they're always butting heads and they're always arguing. They have them always in different light quality, light differences. So if Mike is in the sunlight, Sully's in the shadows. And even if they start off in the same light, because maybe they're in the same room or they're outside, one of them will walk into the shadows or the light. And it really just adds a little bit extra of that element of that theatricality. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So there we go. My car's in the shadows. Now over here, we also want to make sure this is super clear. So I want to keep the sides dark. And let's see. Now some of this will be able to be figured out with the color when we do the color. So like right now the cars are kind of hidden by being this darkness of the characters of the road, but we're going to change that with the colors to make sure the road is a different color than the cars, and that way you'll be able to tell the difference. So here we go. Now because of time, I don't think we're going to be able to draw the inside of my head, but that will be the homework for this week, is to draw the inside. Yeah. Yeah, like the inside out characters, you know? Like what is happening inside my head while all this is going on? Are my emotions in my head freaking out?
Yep.
There we go. They probably are.
Because that monster truck is coming to eat you.
I know, right? People cutting you off is no bueno. Okay, here we go. I think because these cars, we're looking at it from the top view, the top of the car should be not my actual brain. No. All right. So now check this out. We have a really great storyboard setup. It's pretty clear. And if we decide later on that something isn't clear and it doesn't read as well when we're looking at the animatic, we could always change it because we didn't spend a lot of time on these drawings, which is great. But we laid it out really quick, and this is something that you can use not just for animation, but if you're trying to do make a children's book or a graphic novel book, these would be called book dummies or just thumbnail sketches.
How dare you call me a dummy?
The art is we're calling it a dummy. So one of the students said, "How dare you call me a dummy?" The art we're calling a dummy because it's really, really, really simplified down. So it's basically to let everybody know that this is not your best work. This is just a rough sketch. But I think it looks pretty good. So we have the car driving through. You see some of the papers flying out, but it's not a big deal. You see me driving crazy because it's late.
Not a big deal.
I know, it should be a big deal. It is littering, yeah. I meant it's not as intense as it's about to get. It's about to get a lot worse.
Someone will spy on your work and make comments.
Somebody's gonna spy my work and make comics out of it. Yeah,
Please say see it.
that would be pretty cool.
Another story.
Yeah, if somebody made a comic out of this, I would be so flattered. All right, so now we have the big truck coming in, swerves me off the side. There's me with all the papers, and I love that top view. That was a great suggestion of having the top view, because then you could see all the papers flying up, and then the papers could even fly up towards the camera, so they're getting closer as they fly up higher in the air. Also showing like how, what's great about this scene too is that it also shows how tiny you feel when bad things are happening to you. You feel like you're just like getting pushed around by the world, so it really does make the point stronger. And then it goes back to like kind of, it resolves itself nicely where it goes back into the beginning scene where I'm driving, and we end it with the same kind of angle shot, and you have the last few pages flying out. And so now we have this first half of the scene is the real world, and then the second half of the scene will be my internal brain, which we will get to. Maybe I'll do that as homework. All right. Now, for our, what are we on? Our challenge of the week. What I would love for you guys to do this week is to thumbnail out the scene from your story and do the entire scene. So draw it from different angles, different compositions, do the grayscale, which is like when we added the gray coloring, and drew it from inside your head too. So if you drew a scene like this outside, or if you started with the inside, draw the outside, whichever way you did it. Now, for those of you guys online, remember to thumbs up, subscribe. You can even donate using the link below, and you can comment what you'd like me to teach next. I'm sorry last week we got cut off too early where I couldn't tell you guys all this stuff, but if you guys have any suggestions on what you guys want to learn, Elliot, Graham, you too, if you guys have things that you want me to teach you guys how to draw.
We already know how to draw.
Oh, yes. Okay. He already knows how to draw everything. So he's just here for moral support, I think. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys have any topics, if you guys want to draw, like one of the really popular ones that we did, we drew like Avatar characters. We also did like Pokemon mashup characters where we combined two Pokemon and made them into one new Pokemon.
Pokemon?
Yeah.
We
You could,
collect them.
yeah, we can do a lot of different things. We can do animation, we can do watercolors, whatever you guys want to do. What was great about going to art school, if you guys ever get a chance to go to art school, is that they have you do a lot of different mediums. So I've done like oil painting, woodworking, sculpting, 3D animation, and 3D sculpting. There's a lot of really fun art mediums out there. All right. And
What I drew.
oh, nice. Okay, cool. I'm gonna come and take it. You guys missed it, but when at the beginning we did the art review from last week, so I posted all of your drawings. I'll show you guys once we finish the live stream, but I'll show you your drawings that I showed up here on the screen.
Have all the snacks?
What was that?
Since no one's here, can we have all the snacks?
Yes, we got a bunch of Capri Suns if you come here in person. So if you guys want some of the snacks, yeah. Oh, awesome. Emmett's coming next time too. I think he means in person, so that'll be fun. And sculpting, yeah. We can do sculpting with clay. That's something I do in my cartooning 2 class, is all of your characters that you create a story about, you actually sculpt them out of clay, which is a really big part of sculpting your characters, is a really big part of knowing how they look in all different angles. And it's really fun to sculpt your characters. I remember I sculpted me and one of my buddies from middle school, Josiah, and he still has it to this day. The little sculpture I did of him, which is really fun. But anyway, I also do one-on-one. So if you guys want to reserve time with me to work on your projects one-on-one, I just had a session with the student a few days ago, and we worked on her YouTube thumbnail because she has a YouTube account and she wanted to make a really awesome thumbnail. And so we roughed out some designs, and we're gonna work on adding more like a profile cartoon like caricature of her, and it's coming out really cool. So I'm really excited. And you could just schedule those times using the link down below, or you can click on my website and do that too. Or you could email me too, and I'll send you all that information. Also, for any of the parents online, I have Q&A sessions. These are free sessions that you can sign up for, and all you do is you click a time that works. I have plenty of availability, and you guys can ask me any questions about my classes, curriculum, the direction that you want to help guide your artistic students or children in, and I will chat with you just to explain and answer any questions that you might have. Now, we have some messages from Earth, because I'm in my spaceship, but our message from Earth is from Everett C. And Everett C drew this cake star, which is adorable. And Everett said that this cake star is the star student that you get when it's your birthday. So you don't even have to do anything. You just have to have been born, which is all of us. Yeah. So for Everett, I redrew it in my star student style and added the rock star to be partying and throwing confetti with him. So if you guys have any star student ideas and you want me to turn them into the star style, you guys can check it out. And yes, it is my Uncle Matt's birthday today, so he would get this cake star. Perfect. But yeah, if you guys have any star student designs, you guys can do that and send them to me either by email or on Instagram, and I will draw it in your style. You could see it the following week, as long as somebody didn't beat you to it, because I know a lot of my students have some really cool star student designs. All right, guys, it looks like we made it through the entire stream, and we have excellent stream health right now. So I don't even know what happened last week, but we're cruising today. So that's awesome. Next week, we're going to be coloring the key moments in your story. So this is really fun. This is called Color Scripts, and the artwork is just beautiful. And you get to just work with like pastels. So if you have pastels at home, bring those. If you're drawing on your tablet, I can show you what digital brushes to use. But coloring your storyboards to give the lighting and the mood of your story is one of my favorite things to do. So I'm really excited to do this with you guys. And with that, we are done. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys in person for joining. I can't wait to see your work. Don't forget to send me all of your artwork, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.